All right, this is the continuation of Chapter 7 discussion. This is the learning objective number 2. Explain workforce instant messaging and texting as well as their liabilities and best practices. And we all know IM means instant messaging, and text messaging have become powerful communication tools among teens and 20-somethings. IM enables two or more individuals to use the internet or an intranet, which is an internal corporate communication, to chat in real time by exchanging brief text message. Companies large and small now provide live online chats with customer service representatives, and I've seen a lot of that myself. Academic libraries in the United States staff a web-based Ask a Librarian chat that are available 24/7, Facebook and Skype, and some browsers have IM chat features. Text messaging or texting is another popular means for exchanging brief messages, usually delivered to a smartphone, supplied by a cell phone service. It's called Internet Protocol, which is VoIP service. Fueled by online security and legal compliance concerns, the other huge trend in business enterprises is integrating multiple communication functions behind corporate firewalls. So there is the Unified Communications Tool, which is an all-in-one internal communication platform that connects coworkers with chat, Twigger-like microblogging, and employee directory access, emails, and phone. So it's like a one-stop shopping thing. Okay, the technology between instant messaging and texting. It's good to understand this for yourself as well as for a company that you may work for. Smaller companies use free public IM service called a client, such as AOL, Google Talk, Windows Live Messenger, Yahoo Messenger. Once the client is installed, remember that's this technology, you enter your name and password. Software checks whether any of the users in your contact list are currently logged on. Then you can exchange messages with those shown in 7.4. We'll get there. IM communications usually exchange between two computers that are linked by servers, which is kind of like the brains. Increasingly, though, IM servers are also web-based, which is like Skype and Facebook chat. So there's no need to install anything. But also on the handheld devices such as iPhones and Android smartphones, or any number of tablets may have that. Let's see, texting usually requires a smartphone, and users pay for the service, flat rate for a certain number of text or media messages. VoIP providers such as SCAP offer texting. SCAP and other formerly computer-based applications are simultaneously available on mobile devices and are making communication on the go more convenient. So now the impact, what's going on? Text messaging and IMs are convenient alternatives to the telephone and are replacing email for short internal communication. French IT giant Atos, I've not heard of them before, switched its in-house communication entirely from email to a Facebook-style interface and instant messaging. More than 2.6 billion IM accounts are worldwide. 64% of business professionals use IM accounts. And that's more than I thought. So here's the figure 7.4, shows a brief IM exchange between a supervisor and a subordinate. They're both using a computer-based IM. So Camille's talking, and here's Ryan. Camille's notifying him that she's finished a meeting with Zymac Enterprises and they've agreed to the terms. Ryan wants to know how long is the contract. She tells him. And so he says, okay, we'll go with it. He approved the 45-day adjustment. Now, she may have just been out of the meeting or out in the hallway, and rather than go back to where Ryan is and find time to talk to him, she's been able to instant message him and get the approval that for the contract or for the trial. Benefits of IM and texting. One, it's real-time communication. That's always a plus, so long as there's a cell phone signal or a connection available. Group online chat capabilities in an enterprise-grade IM allocations allow coworkers and project teams who's out of ways to communicate. Centers for Disease Control started an SMS text messaging service program It now has 15,000 participants receiving regular health alerts and tips on their mobile phones. Many people consider instant messaging and texting productivity boosters because they enable users to get answers quickly. But with most anything that's good, that has a benefit, there are risks. So the risks of instant messaging and texting. Some organizations forbid employees to use instant and text messaging for a number of reasons. One is that they consider it a distraction in addition to the telephone, email, and the web. Some organizations are afraid that employees are going to use consumer-grade instant messaging that will reveal privileged information and company records. That's always a fear. One UK study found that 72% of businesses have banned instant messaging, and another 74% of the respondents believe that instant messaging could boost collaboration in their organizations, not outside of it. IT directors in the United Kingdom worry about security risks. Loss of sensitive business data is a primary concern, 56%. Large corporations are protecting themselves by taking instant messaging behind firewalls, where they can log and archive traffic. And so here's an example of something from the notices from the Centers for Disease Control text alerts about new tobacco regulations, a safe summer trip, preventing rabies, and preventing ticks. So that's how that might look for them. Okay, liability. A worker's improper use of mobile devices while in company business can expose the organization to legal liability. Jury has awarded $18 million to a victim struck by a transportation company's big rig, whose driver had been checking text messages, so he was texting and driving. Another case resulted in a $21 million verdict to a woman injured by a trucker who had used a cell phone while driving a company truck. A construction firm had to pay $4.75 million to a man injured by a driver using a company-provided cell phone. As many as 34% of Americans admit to having texted while driving, such as DUI or DWI, driving while intoxicated. I hadn't heard that one before. It's rampant. 1.3 million crashes, or 23% of all collisions, involve cell phones. Unfortunately, 77% of young adults are confident that they can safely text and drive. Organizations are fighting back to try and change that. Employers state that they monitor the internet, email, social media, blogs, and personal user restrictions of email enforced by a full 83% of the organizations. Okay, best practices for instant messaging and texting. It says the second line, when UPS needed to hire 50,000 seasonal workers at the end of the year, its integrated social media effort drove over 1 million potential job candidates. To view online videos about the shipping company resulted in 150,000 applications. They only wanted 50,000. They got 150,000. The SMS text campaign alone attracted more than 31,000 applicants and cost just $30,000. So if they'd done it differently, it would cost them a whole lot more. Aside from digital marketing, instant messaging and texting can save time and simplify your communication. If your organization does allow instant messaging or texting, you can efficiently and professionally follow these guidelines. Adhere to company policy at all times, net etiquette rules, code of conduct, ethics, harassment, and discrimination policies. Don't instant message or text employees to disclose sensitive information. Steer clear of harassment and discriminatory content against classes protected by law. And here's some more information about how to use your smartphone and how software can be used to turn any text message into a word cloud. And that 35% of American adults now own a mobile device. So there's additional things that you need to do, as with email. Don't say anything that would damage your reputation. Avoid unnecessary chit-chat. Know when to say goodbye. Beware of jargon, slang, and abbreviations, which Although they may reduce keystrokes, can be confusing, and make sure you use good grammar and proper spelling. Texting and business etiquette, sometimes these two conflict. Texting is quick and unobtrusive, and for regular messages, it's the best alternative to phone call or email. But given the popularity of text messaging, etiquette experts are taking note. Let's look at figure this. Texting etiquette. Timing. Don't text when calling. Would be inappropriate and rude. For example, at a performance, a restaurant, a meeting, or a movie theater. Don't text or answer your phone during a face-to-face conversation. If others use their cell phones while talking to you, you may excuse yourself until they stop. Just say, excuse me, walk away and let them have their privacy. Addressing, check that you are texting to the correct phone number to avoid embarrassment. If you receive a message by mistake, alert the sender. Don't respond. Avoid sending confidential, private, or potentially embarrassing texts. Someone might see your text at the recipient's end, or the message might be sent to an unintended recipient. Don't expect an instant reply when you're responding, as with email. We don't know when the recipient will read your message. Identify yourself when texting a new contact who doesn't have your phone. Hi, it's Erica. I run into this all the time. I will be following up with people, and they will reply to me, but I only see their phone number, and so I have to go track down that phone number. Expressing, don't use text messages to notify others of sad news, sensitive business matters, or urgent meetings. Unless you wish to set up a phone call about that subject, it's best here to just go ahead and pick up the phone and call somebody. So now this is the end of this message. We're going to pick up on the next one with learning objective 3.